everybody, Jason Shadrick here with Premier Guitar. We're with Stan from Fender. We're at the Fender booth, and we're talking pedals.
Yeah.
Which we don't usually do when we come over here.
No, we talk about guitars.
We talk about guitars.
Yeah.
So, Stan, you guys got 6 new pedals here, and we're going to kind of touch on each one. But first, let us know the sound you're using on the intro there. What kind of combination you were doing?
So what we have is just the buffer, which is always on in the front of the chain. I have our compressor, the bends, and then I just have our marine layer reverb on. So very simple straight ahead sound.
All right, Stan, so usually we're over here talking about guitars and amps and stuff, but now you guys have a line of pedals out. So tell us a little bit the kind of development of how this line came together, what made you guys think we should do some pedals?
Yeah, thanks. So we've done pedals in the past, and whether you're talking about the 70s and the Fender Blender, or whether you're talking about the 60s and some of the Telray stuff we did, or the 63 Reverb, we've had our little moments of pedal glory here and there, but we always seem to do them singly, and they get picked off really easily at that point. So we've done pedals over the years that were maybe a little more generic. This year we decided we wanted to start from scratch and do a line that was really uniquely ours. We wanted to do something that was kind of unique. So all of these pedals started from a blank sheet of paper. These aren't derivative of anything. There's no designs that borrow from anything. They were all designed locally. It's a very small, super passionate team that works on these things. So yeah, we just kind of started off, we looked at what a good product offering might be, and just some good basic pedals to have to go through a couple of flavors of distortion, delay, reverb, a compressor, some utility stuff, and this is where we ended up.
So let's kind of walk through the signal chain and we'll kind of hit on each one here.
Okay, so very first we have the level set buffer. Buffers are great in the front of a chain because they'll make your signal more robust. So if you are a kind of modern player with a lot of pedals on your board, a buffer is a great place to retain some signal clarity. Ours does a couple of things that are really cool. There's a tuner split output of it, so you can have a tuner pedal running on your board the whole time and be tuning while you're in the middle of playing. There's a mute switch so you can tune silently if you want. For people that swap guitars, I switch guitars on gigs a lot, so if you're going from like a lower output guitar to a higher output guitar, like maybe I've got something with humbuckers that's a little darker, I can turn the level down and make it a little bit chimier and brighter, so it plays a little more nicely with the rest of my setup. So I don't have to go, well, for my Strat, I like to set the gain over here, but when I switch to my humbucker guitar, I have to set the, drop the gain down or whatever. This kind of is like a one-stop shop for where to make adjustments. It's got a load switch on it that applies the capacitive load like the front end of a tube amp would. So if you're doing like clean funk kind of playing, you'll probably turn it off and keep the transients. But if you're more playing rock or distortion, it's nice because it takes a little bit of that front edge transient off and just makes things a little warmer. So that's the level set buffer. The Benz compressor is a guitar stomp style compressor, but its unique fun thing is that the way that it calculates the compression is done very, very precisely. So it's really fast. So it'll grab the note really quickly. Compressors listen to your playing, and when you get a little loud, they start to turn the volume down. Well, sometimes if a really loud thing comes in, it takes the compressor a second to recognize it. Or not a second, but a short span of time. This thing jumps on the note really fast, so you can go from very quiet playing to really aggressive playing without pops and clicks and bangs in the note. And then, of course, there's a blend control where you can blend in some of your original dynamics if you want. There's a gain reduction indicator built into the bypass, so you can see when it's actually compressing. Example, this is a lot of compression right now, so I'm going to play, it's basically clean, and just really lay into it. And it just grabs the note.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So meanwhile, you can blend in some of your original dynamics if you want. So that's the Benz. Santa Ana Overdrive is a high voltage based FET overdrive pedal, so it has a cool power supply that's stabilized inside. FETs, as people probably know, are, to me in the solid state world, are the closest thing to a tube as far as what it feels like dynamically. So this guy uses a large number of FETs inside and this pretty exotic power supply, and it can go from pretty clean up to good kind of mid-gain, up into higher gain territory. And the fun thing about this, because of the high voltage supply and the FETs, it cleans up pretty nicely. just from your volume control. The voicing switch is fun because we all know there are amps that are pedal friendly and some amps that are like not pedal friendly because they might have a bright cap built in or something. They're chimey and sparkly. So the voicing switch shifts the mid character and takes a little bit of the extreme top end off. So if you have something like the vibrato channel of a deluxe reverb maybe that sometimes people go, it's a little like fizzy sounding, that's exactly what that's made for. There's a boost circuit, and the boost circuit can either give you more drive or more output level. There's a switch on the back to select which is which.
Okay.
The guy that designed this pedal is a guy called Alex Aguilar, who people know from the bass world, but he's a great guitar player and a really killer engineer. So he had a lot of fun with this. This also has a true bypass or a buffered bypass on it. So if it's a fronted chain pedal, this can be a buffer for the rest of your board. Or if you want to keep a true bypass, you can do that. You can see the LED kill switch back here and the boost select switch back here. So that's the Santa Ana. The Pugilist was kind of fun. This is actually two separate distortion engines hidden in one box, and you can freely blend between them. So the thing I like about this is, you can start with a cleaner sound. If you start with a ragey or distorted sound, sometimes it's not very articulate. So by blending in a cleaner tone with it, here's the cleaner tone. Right, now if I blend them, I hear some of the pick attack stuff. You can also stack the two sides in series, so just like stacking drive pedals and get a lot of gain out of it. So this pedal doesn't have a strong mid character on its own. It's really meant to work with your amp.
Yeah.
And
a bass boost switch on there? Right?
Yeah, the bass boost is great. If you're playing through an amp that's already distorted, you probably don't want a lot of bass in it because it turns into mud. Yeah. But meanwhile, if you're playing through a smaller amp or a clean amp, it's good to have a little more punch.
Dig it.
So that's that.
All right, next we have the delay, huh?
Yeah, the mirror image delay. Mirror image delay and mirror image and the marine layer reverb are both DSP based, so they're both digital effects. They keep the analog signal, the dry signal analog. So it's pure analog dry all the way through. The delay has three different sets of algorithms. It has a typical high quality digital pure delay. It has a bucket brigade style delay, and it has a tape style delay. There's modulation for all of them. With the tape you can adjust wow and flutter characteristics. There's a second delay engine built in on this dotted eighth switch. So if it's doing a quarter note, you can flip the dotted eighth and add a dotted eighth to it as a second delay. It has a buffered bypass scheme where when you bypass it, the trail will decay naturally. So if you're playing a solo and it's last note of your solo, kick the delay off, it just kind of holds. So I'll show you some of that stuff. So here's the digital delay.
For all your U2 jams.
Yeah, exactly. And then tape and analog delay models. So the marine layer reverb is, again, it's a DSP-based reverb, and so it has rooms and halls and typical reverb sounds where maybe a hall is denser and better for solo playing, a room's a little cleaner sounding, better for articulate rhythms. Really simple user interface. It also has a couple of fun modes where just good clean reverb, but you can pop it down into this cool, big, modulated, cavernous space where it'll hold chords. And here you can hear so now I'm playing, and it's still holding. It's also got a shimmer built into it. So you can hear the octave stuff. So all of the pedals have this fun magnetic battery door. So for battery changes, there's no screws, no tools required. So you can just get to it really quickly and easily, no parts to lose. And you can turn the pots on and off if you want with a switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we try to think about it like, player-centric. So the input and output jacks are offset from each other so you can get them a little closer together on the board. They all run on 9 volts. So they're anodized aluminum enclosures, so they're really rugged. Really robust.
So what will be the pricing and availability on these?
So available, I believe, starting in February, and pricing goes from $99 to $199.
Oh, okay.
So let's see if I can get this right. So I think it's $99, $99, $129, $149, $149, $199 in the U.S.
Yeah. All right. Well, man,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to have you play us out with something.
Okay.
This is Jason of Premier Guitar.